I would like I would like just to thank you very much for introduce me. My name is Luca Albertario, and today I'm going to talk about the structural strengthening system of MAPEI. And moreover, my focus will be strongly oriented to talk about our Italian experience. As you know, MAPEI is an Italian company with an international experience in a lot of application field, and my product line is the strengthening system. So today I will resume what Marco, my colleague, explained you before my presentation, and I will talk about the difference between the main systems that we can propose for the structural strengthening system for men's rebuilding, starting from the most traditional one, which is the traditional structural render made by steel mesh and a traditional cementitious mortar, compared to other solutions more innovative and with a lot of advantages, like Marco introduced you before, like the CRM or the FRCM system. Just to make a resume, the main difference is very high in terms of capacity, stiffness, and generally compatibility with the substrate, because here the main topic is the compatibility between the men's rebuilding with a very low elasticity modulus and a traditional system made by steel mesh and a traditional mortar with a very higher stiffness. So in the past in Italy we had some very bad experience on that traditional system because of his stiffness and his low compatibility with the substrate. In my presentation, I will show you some of them of that bad application and some results of that problem. Basically, in the picture on the left, we can see the low durability effect of this steel mesh, because as you know, the steel mesh and the steel bars, like in concrete structure, has a very low performance between a chemical point of view, and its durability is very low. In the picture in the center, you can see the detachment of such structural render, okay, due to a very different mechanical behavior between the masonry and this strengthening system. And in the last picture on the right, you can see another very common problem on that solution, because its stiffness is too high, and it could the behavior and the mechanical behavior is totally different from the substrate, the masonry substrate. So they are not going to work together as we expected. And in these few examples, in these few references, you could see, beside a scientific point of view, the main effect, the main problem related on this traditional technique applied on men's rebuilding. This picture have been taken after the earthquake of the 1997, so it's a very old earthquake that took place in Italy, and we can still see the bad effect of such intervention on the masonry structure. That's the reason why in the next years we develop other solution. Okay, another very important case is the application of this traditional system on masonry vaults. In that case, it's even worse, the situation, because as you can see in this picture, we typically, in the past in Italy, have been realized a lot of concrete reinforcement on existing vaults, whose name is Calotta in CA. But the problem in that case is that we are unloading the existing masonry vaults, and it could cause a lot of problem due to the loss of compression in the arches or masonry vaults, and that would be a very bad situation. So our system nowadays, we have other system that could increase the tensile capacity of such vaults without changing the stiffness or without changing its stiffness, and without causing such problem. Okay. As you know, in Italy we have, like Croatia, a very strong and long history on seismic retrofitting. MAPEI, our first application and main application in Italy, was in 1997 after the earthquake in Assisi, where a great collapse of the vaults of the Basilica di San Francesco d'Assisi that took place, unfortunately. That have been the first application of FRP system on masonry vaults. In this picture you can see the application of this system, and it had been carried out by MAPEI in that case, in order to strengthen the masonry vaults. But as you can imagine, the techniques have been during the time, during these latest years, even increased and optimized, but passing by the FRP application, so fabric plus resin, epoxy resin, to other systems like the FRCM, so meshes, glass or basalt fiber mesh in combination with the mortar, as Marco explained you before. Like in this case, more or less 10 years ago, another very important earthquake took place in Italy, in Reggio Emilia, and in that case we applied a lot of other systems like the FRCM, in which we can see in this picture, on vaults. As you can see in this picture, after a good substrate preparation, making injection along the cracks of the vaults, we applied in that case a glass fiber mesh with a very low application thickness. We are talking about more or less 1.5 centimeter. As you can see, the mesh is very flexible, so it's able to follow the shape of the vaults very easily. And compared to a traditional concrete solution, we are for sure the weight of the intervention is much lower, and this would be a very important stuff, because in this way we could totally avoid the collapse and the loss of compression on the vaults, and we are increasing the tensile capacity of the vaults. Another very important earthquake that took place in Camerino in 2016, we make a lot of intervention like this one, in this case with another FRP application. In the image on the left side, you can see the application of carbon fabric on these masonry vaults. On the right side, you can see the final results of the intervention, so pretty invisible, due to the application of a specific low thickness render on the FRP that could hide totally the intervention. In the picture on the left, you can see the application of such low thickness render painted like the traditional masonry. So it is super well hidden beside the application. Another very important experience that we had in the past is in L'Aquila in 2009, with a lot of deaths and evacuated people. After that, we have a huge experience of new and innovative solution like the FRCM on the FRP. This is the L'Aquila nowadays, so we are still working on reconstruction works, even if a lot of job have been done. We could say that for sure the most of the works, the strengthening work, have been carried on by using glass fiber or basalt fiber mesh instead of steel, because nowadays in Italy, for everybody is clear that traditional solution could cause a lot of trouble. Moreover, compared with these new and easy applications. Just to share with you our experience, we have experience of strengthening jobs carried out before that huge earthquake. We are talking about the ex-convento in San Domenico in L'Aquila, where we did some of our intervention before, few years before that earthquakes. So we did some intervention like injection, some strengthening of vaults, and that's the results. Okay, so this picture have been taken after the earthquake in L'Aquila of 2009. So as you can see, we are sure about the results that such techniques could produce. So we have experience of application before real and very important earthquakes, like in L'Aquila. After that earthquakes, as I told you before, the FRCM and CRM solution are super wide. So that kind of application is very, very common in a lot of cases. In L'Aquila probably have been the first massive intervention for the FRCM. So it has been the first place in which such application has became very super common, super widely used. In those pictures, you can see on the left side some application of FRCM system, and on the right we have a lot of experience of application of such mortar on strongly damaged structure, in which the firemen are working on it few hours, few days after the earthquake, in order to protect the masonry. But our experience is not only in Italy. We have a lot of experience, let's say, worldwide. For your information, this is another application of FRCM system that we did very recently in Mexico, in some of very historical churches, like the Convento de Tlayacapan in Mexico last year, after the earthquake of 2017. In this picture, you can see the application of our FRCM system connected by using the fioccos. These are some tests on it, on real tests on the vaults. After that earthquake, that huge earthquake that causes a lot of trouble on that structure, a new earthquake took place, unfortunately, last year. But we can say that the structure had a very good behavior after the intervention. So we have the test after we have an experience of new earthquake on a fresh strengthened structure by using the FRCM system. Just another case, just to show you some of our experience. We are working in Colombia, for instance, and a lot of other countries in which we are still applying this system. Originally, the starting design required steel mesh with traditional mortar, but as soon as we show them the results of such intervention and our experience and all the advantages, let's say the engineering and the practical advantage of such solution, they switch the project, they change the project by using this kind of solution. Obviously, before all these application, MAPEI during the last 20 years carried out a huge and very impressive experimental campaign in most of cases, after that experimental campaign, was new standard have been developed. So today, the standard situation is very clear. In Italy, we have line guide for the calculation, and for the certification as well, even if it is very, very new. So we are waiting for the final certification of such a system, even if all the tests have been carried out in the past. Just for your information, this is just some of our experience in that experimental campaign point of view, in which in the left side you can see a sample of mensury rebuilt in the lab and tested with the different system in order to achieve, in order to study, get information about the results that we could achieve by using these different techniques. On the right side, on the right picture, you can see another test on the portal. Okay, so we have a lot of experience on that. We did test on on shaking table test, shaking table machine as well, on men's rebuilding. So we have a very wide experience on that. We did a lot of tests on mensury vaults. So we can say that honestly, I could say that this kind of technique, FRCM, CRM, etc., cannot be defined as innovative, because we are applying that solution. We have been applying this solution for several years and with a lot of experience on site, beside a standard point of view, certification point of view, and experimentally. So we are sure about the goodness of this solution, even more compared to the traditional one. I hope to have been clear, and I hope that I respected the timing of my presentation. But in any case, we remain at your disposal in order to provide you any further information about all our system. So thank you very much one more time for your time and your to being here with us, and thank you very much.